Before the first star ignited, before gravity carved the valleys of space, what was there?
Namaste, Namaskaram, greetings. My name is Ramakrishnan. I live in Velachery, Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. We are told that the universe begins from nothing. But the human mind struggles with that word.
Modern physics tells us that if you remove every atom, every photon, and every ounce of energy from a box, you don't get emptiness, you get a storm.
And thousands of years ago, the sages of the Himalayan mountains looked into that same silence and found not an empty void, but a fullness so vast, it defied description. Welcome to the Phoenix universe. Today, we look at the canvas, the larger picture in which we will develop this universe in further episodes. Let's start with the hard science. We think that space is just a container, a stage where matter, energy, the forces, the standard model, where all these danced.
Newton saw space as absolute, an empty box that God placed stars into. But quantum field theory changed everything. It revealed that empty space is actually a medium. It is alive with fields.
Imagine the ocean. You can see the waves, right? That is matter. Electrons, quarks, muons, galaxies, nebulae, gas clouds, you and me and everything here. But can you have a wave without water?
In physics, this water is the quantum vacuum. It's a metastable field of infinite potential. Virtual particles pop in and out of existence constantly. It has energy, it has rules, permits things to exist. If this field didn't exist, the electron would have nowhere to be.
It has energy, it has rules, it permits things to exist and adjust. If this field didn't exist, these particles, these quarks, these muons, this antimatter, all these things, they would have nowhere to go. Think about that. So science says the nothing before the Big Bang wasn't nothing. It was a pregnant possibility, a state of high energy waiting to exhale.
Now, let's cross the bridge. 5,000 years ago, the Rishis of India asked the same question.
They stripped away the universe, layer by layer, peeling an onion. But of course, there was something inside. It's not like an onion where nothing is left after you remove all the layers. But they peeled away all what the Upanishads and the Vedas refer to as the 5 elements, Akasha, ether, Vayu, air, Agni, fire, Prithvi, earth, Apha, water. They stripped these away.
They arrived at a concept they called Brahman. But be careful, this isn't God in the Western sense. It is not a man in the sky or any person in the sky.
In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the oldest Upanishad, they tried to describe it via negation. Neti, neti. Not this, not this. So what remains after not this? That, they said, is Brahman. It is not energy. It is not matter. It is not even the mind. We sometimes, we do say in the Mahavakyas that the Atma is ultimately Brahman. We'll go into the Mahavakyas later in further episodes. So what is it? In our model of the universe, we start with Brahman as the permissive substrate. Think of it as a screen in the movie theater.
The movie, that is the universe, changes constantly. Fire burns, people cry, stars explode. But the screen never burns. It never cries. It never moves.
It is the invariant background, the silence that permits sound to be heard. Now look at them together, what science says and what is described in the Upanishads and other Indian scriptures. Are they really saying different things? Or are they two languages essentially describing the same inconceivable precondition?
Physics calls it the vacuum state. Vedanta calls it Brahman. Physics says it teems with potential. Vedanta says it holds the seed of Maya, that is illusion, creation. Physics says the laws of nature are embedded in the vacuum. Vedanta says Sat, that is existence, is inherent in Brahman.
The physicist John Wheeler once said that the universe is made of geometry. The sage Yajnavalkya said it's made of fullness, Purnam.
From fullness, fullness comes. The universe wasn't created out of lack. It spilled over from abundance.
This is the core thesis of my book, Brahman. All this, whatsoever that moves. Brahman comes from Brahman, from definitions in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and Chandogya Upanishad. All this, whatsoever that moves, comes from the Ishopanishad, the beginning verse, which says, Isavasyam idam sarvam yattincha jagatyam jagate. All this, whatsoever that moves in this moving world is Isa. So we connect Brahman, Isa and other things further in the book, and we also include science. These two we are combining modern scientific concepts and concepts from the Upanishads and Indian scriptures and try to put together a plausible version of the universe, a new concept. We are not using anything new. We are not inventing anything. We are trying to use existing concepts like Brahman, Isha, Prana, and gravity, dark energy, dark matter, only existing concepts. And we are logically putting this together and trying to present a different perspective, which is maybe what the world is looking for. We need to recognize that they are describing the architecture of permission. Before the play can begin, a stage is needed. That stage must be sturdy, it must be silent, and it must be capable of holding the drama. Brahman is that stage. The quantum vacuum is the floorboards. They together, or maybe they describe the same thing. Either way, we propose that is the substrate of all this, whatsoever that moves. And right now, that substrate is holding you and me up 3 floors above the ground and everything else.
You are not standing on the earth, you are standing in Brahman. You are a ripple in the quantum field.
We have described the canvas, we have set the stage. But a stage on which nothing plays is boring, isn't it? Something has to disturb the silence. The actors have to come in. They have to play out their characters and their roles. Something has to break the symmetry.
Next time on the Phoenix Project,
we explore the sound, how the universe shouted itself into existence. Be sure to join us.